New idea. Danny videos get a lot of views, and genius opinion right here. Game devs get paid for selling their games and selling their souls. Unless we're Danny, or become a hobbyist while working a job for half a decade. Now, I've tried doing what everyone else does and copy Danny for views, and it didn't work. But I kinda don't want to be in a ton of debt while making this thing I've dreamt of doing since I was like 5 years old or something. So I'm gonna have a bit more fun. Check it! We've got the logo in, even though it won't align properly, it still works. I have about a week to finish a demo for this, so what? After a bit of rest, let's go! Because not burning out is still semi-important. So the first day I went to find a fix for the dash, because half the point of this game is to have fun, and if you think slow is fun, then you're insane. That's just a fact. In the process, the cutscene was ruined. I don't know how. I forgot to write that part down. So I crawled back to Plastic's version control, hoping to be picked up from the fiery pit I just dug by accident, and it mostly did. Whew. Also, no references because I forgot. Yeah. Now, I have a plan. A plan to spawn a swarm after this cutscene finishes. There are voice lines that trigger here, and like me, you are going to pretend that this jank does not exist, alright? I'm trying to create a show here while learning how to make a show as a journey to show step by step how I achieve my dreams and how you can do the same thing, just like how One Piece has been doing for 27 years. So before that actually worked, because I forgot to get footage again, getting to the Colosseum triggered 2 events at once, which was really annoying. So I plopped the logic into a child of the cutscene trigger, so when you jump out of the water and are within the Colosseum range, nothing happens! But by simply using a tag to find the object I want, I can trigger a specific behavior on one object instead of triggering a bunch of things at the same time with no control over it. And pow, just like that, it's time to fight for your life. This is why I tell you to get familiar with the controls before darting off. I want you attention span deprived little kidlings to play my game, and for now, if it's what it needs, I will kill tutorials for that completely, which means you're going to be thrown in to Dark Souls level problems for a new player. Oh well, I'll fix it later. And yes, I feel like I'm about to fall asleep for the next week. I think after this demo, I'll take a really nice break for a while and stop putting so much pressure on myself and working like my life depends on it, because not very good. Now for voice lines. The lip sync's gone again, and the model shape keys, blend shapes, aren't popping up. After an hour, I got Logan's back, and the shape keys for Reef have just disappeared completely in the Blender model as well, so I'm just going to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. Then I took a 5-minute break, came back, played around with the file position a little bit, and rebaked it. Yo!
Well, we're the same, right? So...
Little breaks are OP. Now, to copy everything, well, that method, onto this NPC called Veil, I gotta go make shape keys, and in 20 minutes, booyah, I edited just the movement of its beard, because the dude doesn't even have a proper mouth. And I just wasted 2 hours on a dash mechanic, because I forgot that dash will be locked in the early game. So I need to revise my planning, or I'm going to mess up a bunch of stuff for the rest of this. The goal for these next 2 days is to make moving and fighting fun, because yeah, a week and a half has gone past like that, doing the cutscene stuff already. But this is where I remembered that I didn't have a way to die, and my time is disintegrating right in front of my face. So after adding a fade to black when you do die, I went to unblacken it in a new script, and despite fading the alpha or transparency of the image in the timeline, which should work every single time, it just flicks back without fading. And I used like an hour or two on this because eventually I decided that it's better, what I had was better than nothing, and to just move on to the voice lines that I had forgotten to do until now. That will make the rest of the demo actually make sense. But the attack animation when you're underwater doesn't want to trigger. So after I did some more voice line stuff, we need to trigger this. Oh no! I figured out that the water idle animation is interrupting the attack animation because I've said if you're swimming and not moving, then do the animation, but that call happens every single frame. So after playing around with it all afternoon, I came back in the morning, and after half an hour of doing stuff, I decided that I should stop that problem, because you can see my logic going out the window in real time. So by adding a check for if you are attacking, alright. Now I gotta do job, but when I get back, it's testy time. Woo! But the same problem happens when I'm attacking while swimming. When I'm moving, it just jitters again. So let's fix it again! I can't find the line in the script. Oh! Okay. So, one, I couldn't find it because the line doesn't exist. And two, the fix that I did way back before to make the attack animation coherent on the ground is the same thing that's causing this freezing when I'm swimming, because it stops trying to blend animation until I force it to blend to a new state. So if I attack while moving, it just yeah. You know what? Too bad. I've got a demo to finish, and sticky animations aren't that bad, but I do want to attack while swimming. That is still important. So I found the line because it turns out it did exist, just in a different way than what I was expecting. See, I have been looking for an input this whole time. If the input isn't 0, that's what I would edit. But this time, it was checking for if the velocity is above 0. Okay. Oh, it's the same thing if I attack while jumping. And bam, easy that time. Alright, it is time for a test. A test on a giant. Let's go. Oh my goodness, it's a mutual defeat. A mutual death. That's so anticlimactic. I was fighting this thing for 6 minutes. So yes, it's still buggy and I need an up and down control, but you can see where I'm going with this. This is solid. This is a solid proof of concept. In the first instance where I can actually see the rest of this game laid out in front of me. I'm still hiding 5 mechanics of the fight as well, one of which is the water powers. yes, some of them don't actually exist yet, and I have tonight and tomorrow to get this demo done, but let's go! I mean, the animations in Collision, which are the most obvious problems, they're working, it's just unreliable. So if I can just add a backup to that, just cover for when the first method fails, we're good to go. Okay, swim jumping was easy, but the ground pound only pushes relative to the player and not to reef, whatever position, whatever rotation he is oriented at. I don't have a reference again. Oh, I was using the wrong variable as a trigger. Okay, turns out the more I used the ground pound and jump while swimming, the more the local up axis or reef rotated. So I end up jumping forward while I'm swimming. So I slapped your ability to ground pound while jumping, and just like that, there's no interference. That took like an hour or so to figure out. So it's done. Now it's time to switch it up. And by switch it up, I mean whee! That was pretty easy actually. Just ball is the opposite of whatever the ball was, and jump height is a new thing is a new value that will trigger the fall. That took several hours to figure out. There's one very big flaw with this though, but listen, I got priorities. That's good enough. So onto the slip ray. Now moving around with a little bit of a challenge and fun is what this will allow, because I just messed up the speaking of the script. Ooh, alright. Now that implementation was easy. It took half an hour, but we are back to attack because let's go. It's happening. I have 4 hours left until the demo needs to be done. But this is doable. I need to unlock a new ability, trim up some cutscenes, make an ending for the demo, and add some death planes for leaving the map. It's still doable. Oh no. When making sure the thing was fully playable, there was a small thing of the position getting reset. That should only happen when Reef hits the death plane, but because of if statement bounds, it just did things. But that's fixed, that was easy. Then when starting a new game, the cameras dropped. For the rest of the video, enjoy my descent. The player's rigid body was still active. That's what was causing it, even though it had never been a problem before. So what changed? There is 2 hours left. I'm starting to doubt how much I can get done. Half an hour later, I have fiddled with components and played around with plastic, the version control again. Still, there's one cutscene to finish, and that'll make everything make sense. I need to do unlockables for combat. It is still doable, but it's getting tight. This menu needs to be finished first, because it needs to be playable. Okay, wow, it's 11 PM, I have 1 hour left. And the problem wasn't in the timeline, because I've gone back to multiple versions and copied each component from a working version into a new one, piece by piece. It was the movement script. But I gotta find where. Of course. The whole flicking thing to swim with your control. I said if you're above a certain height, then you are swimming. At least that's what I did say before, but I had to change that to rely on your input only, which meant whenever the game starts and you're above this height, you haven't told it to do anything otherwise, so you fall. Since I never told it specifically to use gravity, and I had no idea what was wrong. Now, with a head that's not solely focused on finishing it, I could have easily said that on start you are swimming. Golden rule, people, small breaks are OP. And it was 11:24. I commented out that line, so the camera stopped falling. And I found more bugs. With 7 minutes left, I started to scramble. I've encountered this bug a few times already, but I just fixed it on the spot with a mind that wasn't half insane because of no rest. 4 minutes left. I had no clue what I could do anymore, and I questioned if I should just stop right there. I went into plastic, and the problem followed me throughout every version I went to. When I went back to the original version, it was done. I failed. But on revision on the script, I learned small breaks are OP. So from now on, I'm going to be taking it a lot easier on myself. If I feel like taking a break in the middle of a week, or if I want to hang out with friends for a few days, or just play for 2 days straight, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop feeling guilty about not working on my dream. I will be going crunch mode again, but when it's closer to something like a stretch goal, when I have something more important to finish. I really thought I would make it for a while there, but I didn't just slack off or anything. This is a record. I simply failed to hit the mark because of unexpected bugs and focusing too much on finishing before the time ended, and that clouded my judgment. So I failed. I failed to hit the mark. I already said that bit. So it was 12 AM, and after realizing that I forgot to edit the video and noting it, I went to bed. That's the best I got given those circumstances with that time. Now it's 11 AM Monday, or at least with recording it anywhere. It's like 11:20 now, something. I still need to do some admin stuff, and the script's finished, and before I take a proper break, I'm finishing this demo because I need to finish this demo. I'm pretty much on the back burner of my energy now, but yeah, stay tuned. For now, bye bye.